And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Now, the first thing that John sees when the heavens open is a rider on a white horse. Now, in John's day, a white horse symbolized triumphant military achievement. That's why you would see Roman generals riding in victory parades on a white horse when they returned from a successful campaign, because it was a symbol of their triumphant military achievement. Now, the first time that Jesus Christ came, he did not come on a white charger. He did not come on a white horse. No, he came in humility and in humbleness. And as the Messiah, he rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. Turn to Matthew chapter 21, verse number 5. It says, tell the people of Israel, look, your king is coming to you. He is humble, riding on a donkey's colt. But when Christ returns the second time, it's not going to be like that. He's going to be a conquering king, and he's going to ride in on a white charger, because he is a triumphant military leader. He is going to actually conquer the entire world. Now, John also tells us that this rider on the white horse was called Faithful and True. Why? Why would he be called Faithful and True? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because those two words describe him better than anything else. Think about it. Jesus was faithful to God and to his mission. In fact, if you look up the word faithful in the dictionary, what you'll find out is that its meaning is to adhere firmly and devotedly to a person, cause, or ideal. And that's a perfect description of Jesus Christ. He is, and he was, faithful. He was faithful to God. God wanted him to go to the cross. He didn't come with his own agenda. He said, nevertheless, not my will, but yours. And he was faithful to the mission. He knew from the very beginning that he was destined to die, and he never once deviated from that. He was faithful to God, and he was faithful to his mission. Jesus is also true. Now, this means something a little bit different than what most of you have been taught. The word true is translated from the Greek word alethinos, and it means genuine or real. And in this context, it means that Jesus is the real Messiah. Now, if you remember, when we first began the book of Revelation and we got to the part of the seven seals, the first rider came out on a white horse. Who was that first rider? He was the Antichrist. And of course, we talked about white meaning peace, but also he came as a triumphant militant leader. He had a bow in his hand, but no arrows. So when he first comes on the scene, he comes as a military person, but he brings peace. But the reason he's riding on this white horse is because he sees himself as the Christ, the Messiah, but he's a counterfeit. He's a fake. And that's why he's referred to as the Antichrist. But Jesus is the genuine Messiah. He's the real deal. Now, look at the last part of verse number 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Now, this is very interesting, because what this is saying is that when Christ returns to wage war upon the Antichrist and his followers, it's not an act of personal vengeance. He's not coming back because he's mad. He's not coming back because he got a raw deal the first time. No, the war upon the Antichrist and his army is an act of righteousness. It's an act of righteous judgment upon evil. They've been given a chance to repent over and over and over again. And they refused to. And not only did they refuse to, but they hardened their hearts. And as a result of that, they became more and more and more wicked, to the point that they were blasphemous and set themselves up as their own deity. And so when he comes back, this is not just personal vengeance. He's actually going to judge in righteousness. Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. That's a really interesting phrase. The phrase, his eyes were as a flame of fire. It's interesting because it refers to his ability to see right into a person's soul. It implies that he not only knows what a person is thinking, but he knows what a person's intentions are. He knows what a person's motives are. You see, this is a figure of speech, and it's a lot like the figure of speech that we use today. How many of you have How many of you have ever made this comment? His eyes were burning right through me. What did you mean by that? You meant that you felt that that person was looking inside of you, knowing what you thought, what you felt, what you desired. All of the things that were inside of you were just revealed to that person. And that's what that phrase, the eyes as a flame of fire, means. It means that they burn right through you. They can see inside of you. They can see what you're thinking. They can see what you're feeling. They can see everything.